Yeah, I'm in the matrix. I remember when I down there in the basement. When we was young, I had to take it real easy. Look at me, I walk around it real easy. I cannot explain it, but it's facts. You can't hurt my feelings when I'm out here counting racks. I thought you was my friend, but you just a stand. Now we talking business, hope you understand. I can't keep looking back at my past. I can't pour myself another glass. For me, this is how it all ends. I've had enough, we no longer friends. We be going back and forth like we was some kids. Same old, same new, now it's time to quit. You can be a stand and keep throwing fits. You can be a stand and keep throwing fits. I've been waiting for the right moment. My eyes is open, all the rumors I was shown them. I'm not surprised by the lies, they just so fake friends. Over time I can't lose to my opponent. I just sparked the flame, yeah I'm on you lane. Like the fireman, I'll put out your flame. Being in prison, doing business is so complicated. Check our DNA, the fact is that we not related. I cannot explain it, but it's facts. You can't hurt my feelings when I'm out here counting racks.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Hope you understand. I can't
Cut it out, Eric. Shame. Eric, you lost your mind.
This is how it all is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Welcome to today's show, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. Yeah.
It's me, Zeus.
Eric,
Sometimes it gotta be this way.
it really
It
does.
really does. But it shouldn't. Yeah. If you not my dog, I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. If you not my dog, I'ma have to cut you off.
Order!
I'ma have to cut you off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't play these games no more. What you looking at me for? I just want the money, yo. All these games that you be playing, all this talk that you be saying, I don't really like to play. Get this money every way. Gotta keep my mental clear. Yeah, you know I'm out of here. I don't really have no
Yes,
fear.
good
Yeah,
morning.
you keep on showing tears. I'm not with that back and forth. I'm the type to get to work. I'm the type to keep it real. I'm the type to get a deal. I'm the type
Gotta
to
get that money.
I'm the type to pop a tag. Sick like I have SARS. Ride around a fast car. Rapping like behind bars. I do this all for my dogs. This is what it all costs when you gotta be the boss. If you not my dog,
Hey,
I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. If you not my dog, I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut
Let's
you
go.
off. This is what it be like when I'm stunting on my enemies. This is what it be like when I make them feel my energy. Sitting on these racks, okay. You know what this really means. This is what it's all about.
Good
I'm on top of
morning.
everything. I'm the boss, don't play with me. This right here no game to me. Toxic, 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 toxic. No, that's not okay
Let's
with
go.
me. Every day you say you scared. Every day I'm making bread. Every day you say you
Let's
good.
go.
Every day I wish you would. This is what it be like when you really on a come up. This is what it be like when you really try to run up. Rookie of the year, better go and break the record. Rookie of the year, better go and get a checkup. Yeah. If you not my dog, I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off. If you not my dog, I'ma have to cut you off. I'ma have to cut you off.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back in the Lion's Den. And boy, oh boy, there is a lot of exciting news, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who do not know me, my name is Mr. Crossing, aka Zeus, God of Sky and Thunder. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am the most handsome, most attractive man out here on this platform. Listen, many are called, but only a few are chosen. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am the chosen one. And they also call me Triple H. Why? Because I am honest, humble, and handsome. Welcome to the show! Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we do over here on this side of town. we keep it real and we keep everything honest. And we're about holding people honest, making them be accountable for their actions and their conduct. And that does start with the former president. I know I have a lot of fans in here who are still Trump supporters. Yes, can you believe it? These people still support Trump. After all of the content I've covered on this platform, they still come into my live and they still support Trump. And so I do this work with the help of many others. Some of them are fan favorites. They come into this live. And what we do is we continue to hold the mirror of justice up in front of the former president and his followers because, ladies and gentlemen, democracy and justice matter. By hook or by crook, we will do this with the hammer of truth. Miminsky, thank you so much for those gifts. Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, we do not tolerate treason in the kingdom. And you know exactly what treason is, and I'm not going to debate it. But we are making sure that I'm going to make sure that his vassals, all of Trump's vassals of transgression, are aware of the many things that are going on with him. And I'm also doing this for my friends, my Democrat friends on the left as well. Because guess what? We are no longer going to sit back and allow ourselves to be misled by the, Fox News. Good morning, Swervin. Nice to see you. Good morning, Shay. Nice to see you. All right. So I don't know if any of you know who Young Thug is. Okay, but Young Thug is a rapper from Atlanta. And if you've been following him, he is, he has been indicted and he has been arrested. Good morning, Kim. Nice to see you. And it just so happens that the same DA, District Attorney Fannie Willis, who indicted Young Thug, a rapper, is also on the verge of indicting the former president. Good morning, girls. Nice to see you. Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, isn't this amazing? See, you can't sit there and see when Trump tried to say it was racism in reverse. Remember, he posted that on Truth Social. This is proof positive. It doesn't matter what color you are. You can be indicted, okay? It doesn't matter what type of entertainer you are. You could be a rapper like Young Thug. And by the way, I used to listen to a lot of his music. But you know what? If you do the crime, you gotta do the top order. Ladies and gentlemen. And what exactly does Fannie Willis want to indict Young Thug about? Or how does she end up doing this? And then how does that tie to the former president? I mean, really, it's not every day that you hear about Trump and Young Thug being in the same headline, right? Isn't this amazing? Oh my goodness. It's the gift that just keeps on giving with Trump. I mean, I can't even go to the rap scene without hearing about Trump right now. So it's not just politics that he's crossed over into. He's all over. And then, by the way, for those of you who keep telling me about that single, that J6 jingle that he made that's in iTunes, that he played at his rally. Trump played that disgusting song at his rally. Terrible song, and it just goes to show you that he has no morals and an empty heart. Okay, because why would he do such a thing? Greetings, Snuggles. Nice to see you. And I do understand that Fannie Willis. For those of you who do not know why Fannie Willis is doing this, I want to remind you of this. Hold on.
I just want to find 11,780 votes. Which is one more than we have.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fannie. Go ahead, indict. Don't waste any time when it comes to doing what you know you should be doing against the former president. Because that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is evidence of a crime. That is admissible evidence, okay? Imagine him on trial and they ask him about that phone call. If you don't think it's going to be I don't want to use profanity, but it's going to be a show when he gets on trial and tries to explain what he was doing. He knew he lost. Everybody around him knew he lost. Okay? And he still chose to break those crimes. Now let's move on to the next topic. And I think many of you know what it is. It involves the vice president, Mike Pence. Let's talk about Michael Pence. Ooh. And I know a lot of the Trump supporters, I think most of them are either going to vote for Ron DeSantis or Mike Pence. And I'm leaning towards Mike Pence, right? So let's talk about Mike Pence. What happened with him recently? Oh my goodness. Judge rejects Trump's privilege claim over Pence testimony on the January 6th probe. So I was reading this yesterday, and it seems like Mike Pence is going to have to talk to Jack Smith. Okay, and there's some photos of him, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. Who do you think he's on the phone with? Jack. Yes. Oh, you want me to be there at what time? Uh-oh. Yes, please put those Jack Smith pictures in the chat section. Trump supporters, look at Mike Pence on the phone. And I'm guessing it's with Jack Smith. Look at his face. Okay, and it's not just this time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. Look at this. Who do you think he's talking to? I know that look. That's that look of terror. That's that look of shame. That's that look of, uh-oh, I think I'm going to have to tell on Trump and all of the crimes he did. Listen, Vice President Mike Pence is going to, actually, I like the other picture. Look at it, because that other picture really gives you the facial. It gives you the facial understanding of how serious this call is. Mike Pence, he is not going to be able to avoid having to talk to Jack Smith. Don't say Pence is a traitor. Please don't say that. You know you're going to vote for him. All you Trump supporters are going to vote for him. Because guess what? He's the reason that you got the Christians to vote for Trump. He's the reason. This is your leader. Order. Where's my thing? Where's my thunder? Order in the court. If you are a Trump supporter, you are also a Mike Pence supporter because they were on the same ticket. Please stop trying to split the Red Sea in front of me. Poker Dad, where are you? This is a great example of how they are trying to split the Red Sea. You know who you voted for. Okay, in 2016, it was Trump and Mike Pence. You cannot check them both off and then tell me Pence is a traitor. When did he become a traitor? And by the way, those of you who continue to say Trump is of God, I got news for you. Go look it up. Mike Pence said it himself. Trump is a fake Christian. Order in the court. I can't believe they still call Pence a traitor. I can't believe they call him a traitor after all he's done for you and your party. Seriously? What is he a traitor for? Because he helped to certify those votes to secure Biden's win during the 2020 election. He did his job. This is the guy you chose to align with the former president. Where are your manners? Okay, so Jack Smith wants to talk to Mike Pence about all of the things leading up to January 6th. He has certain protections, right? Okay, Pence, you said that you were president of the Senate, okay? You don't got to talk about that. But everything else, that's fair game, Pence. And we want to know exactly what you know as it relates to what Trump said to you, what Trump was doing in those moments leading up to January 6th. Order! This is why he's a hero. Don't say he's a traitor. He's a hero. He's about to be the next hero in your party. That's why I'm telling all of my friends who are Trump supporters, vote either Mike Pence or Ron DeSantis. You don't got too many choices. And if you don't want to do that, I have some friends on this platform. They have what I'm going to start referring to as the Temple of Conversion. And any Trump supporter who would like to become a Democrat, please feel free to send a guest request when I open up these boxes and let us know that you're interested in changing parties. And I will make sure to facilitate that transition so that you can get access to the Temple of Conversion and become a Democrat. It's got to start. You got to admit that you want to change, though. We're not going to force you. But this is what's really about to start happening, ladies and gentlemen, because you look at the poll numbers, Trump is done. Okay? And look at what Mike Pence is doing. He's going to have to talk to Jack Smith. And I already know what he's going to say. What is he going to say? He's going to say this. Well, Jack Smith, nice to meet you. And you are as scary as they say you are. And Jack Smith is going to have that laundry list of questions for Mike Pence. So Mike Pence, you were there when Trump was trying to start this whole fake elector scheme. And what can you tell me about Rudy Colludi Giuliani, as Michael Cohen likes to call him? What can you tell me about Mark Meadows? What can you tell me about Kevin McCarthy? What can you tell me about Marjorie Taylor Greene? What can you tell me about Trump order? And Jack Smith is going to be taking meticulous notes. Okay, and Trump supporters know this. And when Mike Pence gets done testifying on the highest mountain out there in Washington, D.C., and Jack Smith captures his version of events, Mike, how did it make you feel when you heard them yelling, "Hang Mike Pence, Michael"? How did that make you feel? And then I hear you call Trump. What did Trump? Oh, Trump called you the P word? Trump called you the P word? Really? Why did he? Oh, when Mike Pence spills those beans, it's over. Now, I got to move on to the next thing, okay? Because a lot of people have been coming to me, Zeus, Trump has not been indicted in New York. This is what they said. He's good to go. And they start clapping. Trump's good to go. No indictments. The grand jury's not meeting this week. This is what they told me. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, okay? But I got something to go over with you. Now, yesterday we talked about Russia being behind the threats, the bomb threats that the Manhattan DA got. And I gave you the email address to go cite. None of his supporters that are in my life came back to me and then countered the... They never came back and said that I was wrong about those emails that I showed you all on TikTok that shows it was Russia who was making these threats to the New York DA. No one ever came back and refuted it. So I'm going to assume it's settled law, and we are all in agreement that once again, Trump is colluding with Russia. So now that that's settled, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to this next bit of information. And this is going to sting. And I got 10 minutes and then I'm going to open up these boxes. You know how I do. This next bit of information is going to sting. You know, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You know, Muhammad Ali. I know you like that one, Jerry. I think I used that in a rhyme against you one time. Or no, it was Poker Dan. My bad. Okay. Trump's hush money. Grand jury may have already voted, but the DA can slow walk an indictment. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Help me! Hello, Bamba. Nice to see you. You hear that, folks? It's getting a little too quiet, isn't it? Isn't it getting a little too quiet up there in New York? Think about it. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. This is why they go, nothing happened. You know what they're going to do next? They're going to move the goalposts. They're going to go, oh, he hasn't been convicted. That's what they're going to do after this next shoe drops. So let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. It is possible the Trump hush money grand jury has already voted to indict the former president. Trump supporters, get those knee pads ready. Prosecutors have the power to slow walk the signing and filing of any indictment, they say. Controlling the timing would allow the city officials to prepare for unrest before Trump learns his fake order. Exactly what I've been saying. Ladies and gentlemen, when those long arms of Johnny Law start to catch up to you, there's really nothing you can do. When that train starts choo-chooing, where's my train track? When that train, oh yes, that train is a-coming, isn't it? You can't stop that train on a like that. Oh no, it's done. You know, you heard of that law of physics called inertia? Oh yes. I am pretty confident. I am very confident that Trump is sweating bullets right now. He is literally waking up, wondering every day, are they going to knock on my door today? Are they going to show up today? Imagine what that feels like. Okay, because see, this silence that you see, the grand jury not meeting, ladies and gentlemen, it's because before we even got to this point, before they even invited Trump to come up there and give his side of the story, before it even got there, ladies and gentlemen, we knew what it was. We in America know what it was. We know he slept with Stormy Daniels. We know he tried to pay her to be silent and he used campaign funds. We know it. Now, he tried to bring in an attorney, one of his friends. Yes, please put the blue wave, okay, in the comment section. Now he's trying to bring in one of his attorneys to come in and discredit the whole story and say, you know what, Michael Cohen is making it all up. And while that did seem like hope, it was struck down by a good friend, David Pecker. David Pecker came in there. Shout out to David Pecker at the National Enquirer telling Alvin Bragg and the rest of those folks what really happened, how Trump tried to use shell companies to pay Stormy Daniels. Okay, this is going to go down in American history, ladies and gentlemen, as the most disgusting reason a former president has ever been indicted. And it's only going to be the start of it. Because like I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, you know who's coming? Jack Smith. So, let's move on into this story. And you can see, I'm not making this up. They have been weighing potential hush money charges against Donald Trump since mid-January and could have voted on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've been telling you. And I've been telling you this since day one. There needs to be accountability because treason in the kingdom will not be tolerated. Yes, Yazzie, thank you so much for those gifts. Okay, now, while we have Alvin Braggs up there doing God's work, and it is very good work, my only hope, like I said, is that many of his supporters eventually come clean and start to admit that they are endorsing someone who has no morals and is a terrible politician. You cannot say the 2020 election was stolen with this amount of evidence in front of your face. We have Trump, ladies and gentlemen. We have him caught with his pants down. Literally. We do. We have him caught out there in Georgia. Okay, let me do it again.
I just want to find 11,000.
We got him. We got him.
Votes.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved.
You see that? We have. You know how you go to you see Trump's rallies. I've never been there, but I think Snuggles has been there. He tells me Trump's rallies are always peaceful. No, they're not. You go look at them. They got these signs in the background. We have the receipts. Okay, at the Waco rally, you look at them in the background. Witch hunt. And I'm thinking to myself, why do they keep telling on themselves? Why do his supporters keep telling on themselves? Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this stuff up. Okay, so my only ask before I open up these boxes, because I want to hear from all of you, my only ask for the supporters who continue to come into my live and defend this man is I'm going to ask you today, if you would like a path forward, would you like to become a Democrat today? Because you know what? There's nothing wrong with you changing parties at this point. You have a very good Heaven, thank you so much. You have a very good reason to change parties, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, we've debunked all of the conspiracies. Fox News is coming clean and being deposed. Okay, right now, you're finding out that that platform, Fox News, has lied to you. You're finding out that these folks that actually went there on January 6th, they weren't peacefully protesting. No, they were not. They were there breaking the law. You now found out about Ashley Babbitt, and please stop trying to put Ashley Babbitt on anyone else other than Donald Trump. I don't want to debate that any longer. You know why Ashley Babbitt ended up in that situation. It's a terrible situation, but you know why she ended up there. She shouldn't have been there at the Capitol. Okay? Trump has not spent a crying dime on the legal defense of any of those folks who were there on January 6th. Stop trying to blame President Biden. Okay? And last but not least, before I open up the box, this is the call to action. One, I do need all of you to make sure you put pressure on our elected officials and tell them to not try to ban this app TikTok, okay? That's one thing I think we all can agree on. Those folks out there in Congress, they do not know what the heck they're talking about when they're talking about TikTok. Find another way to punish China, but don't cut off this app, so please put your pressure on them. And the last thing I would like to address, it has to do with this violence, this gun violence. I mean, what the heck is going on? I am seeing so many folks on the right failing to rise to the occasion to address this issue. And it is now time to come clean, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I have to say it. Order in the court. Unfortunately, there's just too many people out here with those things, and there needs to be something done because not everybody should be allowed to use it. It's like driving a car. It's like doing anything. Not everybody's qualified to handle that thing. And I would like to see my friends on the right hold their friends accountable for what's going on. Now, I have been listening to a lot of these lives, and it always fascinates me. They get in the box and they get pressed on what is your opinion about gun control. And it turns into the same conversation about who was responsible for January 6th. Was the election in 2020 stolen? It's almost as if you're not a Christian. And if you're not a Christian, just come clean and say, I'm not a Christian. I am the devil's son or daughter. Period. And we can move on from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to open up the box, and I am willing to hear from each and every single one of you that I can. And you know the rules. You know the rules. No yelling, no insulting, no cursing. And let's have these honest conversations, ladies and gentlemen. Because guess what? This is the only way the truth will be revealed is if you come talk to Zeus and I let this hammer of truth bring the truth. Oh my goodness, we got a lot of interesting folks who would like to come in the box and talk. And you know what? In the comments, thank you. We don't like it when there's interruptions. All right.
Hello, Mr. Crossings.
Snuggles, one. I want to bring others in the box. Are you going to interrupt them? Yes or no? Because I want to get that agreement.
May I please just can you give me 1 minute with you?
Okay, what do you got?
I have to say really quick that's the most ridiculous opening that I've heard day after day, Mr. Crossings. Do you know why Mike Pence was on the phone? Do you know why he was on the phone or who he was on the phone with?
Who?
You sure it's Jack Smith?
You tell me. Who do you think he was on the phone with? It looks like Jack Smith to me.
No.
Do you understand? Do you understand that Jack Smith is going to be talking to Mike Pence?
No. It was, you know who it was? It was the Supreme Court. 22-380. He's like, I got to get out of this. I should have let it go through because I don't want to be charged with treason. You know what I mean? So he's going to try to get immunity, so by passing 22-380.
What immunity are you saying Pence is going to get?
What he did is he allowed the votes to go through. He allowed the election to go through without listening to 183 Congress members. They were supposed to debate that for 10 days, but he said, oh, no. We got to get this through because Nancy Pelosi, even in the midst of a January 6th insurrection, you heard her on the phone. We have to get this election through. We have to get it through and not listen to the 183 Congress members by law, by Constitution. They broke the Constitution. That's what Mike Pence is more worried about. Treason. Absolutely.
Lies.
Yes. No lies.
Misinformation.
No
Untruth.
lies.
Blasphemy.
Mr. Crossings.
Why?
Stormy
Why do you
Daniels.
continue to be a vassal of
What I'm trying to say is Stormy Daniels, David Pecker, and Cohen, who is a felon. Okay, you're talking about Giuliani and all them people. Cohen, who's a star witness, a felon who lied on the stand. Who's going to believe him?
Let me ask you this.
They're like, we need another week to figure out how to get Cohen. How are we going to get Cohen? We need another week.
Snuggles, can I ask you a question? I mean,
yes.
And I know you will be doing a spin-off.
Yes.
What, ladies and gentlemen, after this live,
spin-off, yes.
Snuggles will be holding a spin-off live.
Absolutely.
Which is supposed to be the opposite version of what I do. So if you are into
it's actually called The Truth.
If you are into the conspiracies and misinformation he's promoting, he's your person. But if you want the truth, you stick with Zeus. Now, Snuggles, let me ask you a question. And this has been this question is still bothering me from a few days ago. In your opinion, was Trump sent by God or of men?
We are all sent by God.
Answer
we were created by God. Thank you so much. Bam. Hey, listen, really quick. I know you're deflecting, but I just want to let you know that, they extended this.
So that's what.
Wait, hold on. They extended this thing a week.
Come down. That's enough misinformation, Snuggles. Okay, this hammer has to come down. Order.
Oh, great. Now just bring your buddies in. Let's go. Let's bring it.
Jeez.
Jesus. Yeah, that's what I mean. My God.
And those of you know, I'm the
my God, Kid Truth.
On this
no.
Okay, Girth.
Look,
there's gonna be a lot of interruption here. I'm gonna just mute. Watch this. Crossings. Kid Truth is the most interrupter I ever watched.
Disrespect you, sir. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm gonna be respectful.
Hold on.
Look, I'm going to be respectful in Zeus's live because I have no respect for you, and if I spoke my mind, Zeus would kick me out. So I'm going to be respectful.
Exactly.
Well, but
everybody has to follow the format of the show, please.
But I want to say this, Zeus. There's something that you brought up, and I've been in enough of these lives, and with the gun violence going on in America, and I want you guys to see something. And this is not to bring hate or towards anyone, but I want you guys to see this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we can see. We do know that if you add.
Give me 1 second. Hold on.
That's fine. You can. While you're doing that, I'm just going to say something.
This is the most kicked out kid that
if you add self-unalivings into the gun violence debate, then yes, the United States is number one. If you take, hang on. Let me just finish my point. Hang on 1 second. Let me just get this point.
I was talking, and now
you're bringing something up, and I said while you're bringing that up,
here we go. You know what?
Can I just hang on. Let me just
take turns.
Let me just
take turns.
Right. So you pause. So I'm just gonna interject real quick.
Okay. Well, I paused the show. I want to show. Okay. Go ahead and get your point.
All right. I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna hit the mute button.
Okay. So the fact of the matter is, real quick.
Kid Truth finish his point, please, Girth.
Of course.
Please.
It's fine. He stopped talking and I started. But
I got it.
Wow.
Please,
I've had conversations with you.
Please let Kid Truth. Please.
I want everybody. Everybody right here. This is what I want to say. I want to say this real quick. I want everybody to look at this right here. This little girl. Look at this little girl. Look at this face. I want everybody
beautiful.
Thank you. And the reason why I bring it up and I show that picture is because I am so sick and tired of people putting children's lives over a piece of iron. This is getting so ridiculous. I've been in so many.
Girth. Come on. Mute.
I am so sick and tired of people defending a piece of iron over a child. If you're going to sit there and every time these happen and then you're defending a piece of metal over a child, you know what? I have no respect for you. And I already know what 2 or 3 people in here think. And I'm not going to even say what I think. But at the end of the day, if you're going to continue to not put your gun down to protect my pure, innocent little daughter or protect your children, then you know what? do not speak on this opinion, because it's disgusting that we are literally still, year after year, we're ranked number one in gun violence year after year. This year alone, and the year's not even over. You know how many mass shootings we had? 183 mass shootings this year. The year before that, you know how many we had? 100, and it was like 170. We were ranked for the past 4 years, ranked number one in mass shootings. So I want to say this with, I don't care. I believe in the Second Amendment strongly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take I don't want to take anybody's firearms from them. But if it's at the expense of saving my child's life, I will put down every firearm that I have to. And the biggest problem that I have is that the Democrats and Republicans are not united here. They care more about banning an app instead of getting together and addressing the mental health. Getting together and trying to find out how can we make stricter gun laws to basically not to have another mass shooting ever again.
Okay.
That's the most ridiculous statement I've heard.
Hang on.
I want to say this and I'm going to run. No, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this and I'm going to run. You are.
No, you already had your chance. Of course
you are spineless. Of course. When I just showed a picture of.
I can't do.
We have to have civilized dialogue here. We have to have civilized dialogue. We can't.
I'm trying. I've been trying.
Okay, well, go ahead, Girth. Make your point.
Okay, great. So I'm actually going to make a couple of points because I want to address a few things that the non-Zeus said in
Keep
his
it clean, Girth.
monologue. So a couple things, real quick. To his point, to the last individual's point, if you take self-unalivings out of the statistics, then the United States is not even in the top 15 for gun violence. That is a statistical fact. Okay. Now when you go to the whole campaign finance issue, Zeus, Hillary Clinton did the exact same thing, the misuse of campaign funds, and all that happened was she was fined $25,000. So if you expect Donald Trump to be indicted, then you should be calling for Hillary Clinton's indictment in the same exact manner.
Okay.
Now
this is too much talk.
Hang on. With the whole January 6th thing, if you're saying that Ashley Babbitt had no reason to be there or no right to be there, then in no way, shape, or form should anybody ever protest ever again. No BLM riots. Nobody supporting BLM should ever have a right to be there. Nobody should have any right to be anywhere other than in their homes.
Hey, Girth, real quick.
Okay. Can I say something really quick?
One thing to just respond to that. Ashley Babbitt was a radicalized right-wing extremist. That's what she was.
She was unarmed. She was unarmed and shot and killed with no investigation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you call her. It doesn't matter, Greg. That's really bad. She's a human being, just like anybody else who has protested. It doesn't matter what their background is. Your background does not define who you are. It's a human being that went in there and lost their life. Secondly, we're not dropping down our guns because somebody has a mental health issue. We need to have our guns now, especially today. I'm not trying to be ignorant here, but no mental health. We don't know who's going to go out and shoot. And you drop one gun, they're going to go get another one. If you drop that gun, they're going to go. Yeah. Then when the stabbing happens, are we going to have to get rid of our steak knives?
I got to move on to Kim. I disagree with Snuggles and Girth, but I'm going to move on to Kim. I'm going to move on to Kim because I got a little time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on a time clock, so I want to hear from everyone.
I gave you facts. I'd like to hear what you think.
No. I got other people that
the campaign finance reform. Real quick, Girth.
Other people could challenge what you're saying. I've already done my 30 minutes. It's not so much about me. I want to get.
So Zeus, I'm sorry. I just have to respond to him real quick. I know you want somebody else to talk.
I want Kim to go. Greg, let Kim go.
Go ahead.
Please.
Yeah, Sami Zayn. Quiet up, Sami Zayn.
All right, Kim. What do you got? Keep it under 2 minutes, please. We can't monologue. We got too many people who want to talk.
I was going to, but when you keep talking about like Trump being indicted, people I think understand one way or another that it's going to be a really, really bad look for the United States if he is thrown in jail. You know, regardless of what people may think, people don't like him, people like him, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a nasty look because then you're going to have other countries looking at us like, what the hell, you know? So, I mean, yes, he should be prosecuted for the things he's done. under the law. Okay? But at the same
Didn't do
time,
anything.
it's Snuggles, stop. At the same time, it doesn't look good. It's not a good look. It really isn't.
Well,
Because
his
Fair
lawyer
enough.
is
it makes
his
other
the one
countries,
that
it
paid
makes other,
his
hold on, it makes
his
because it
lawyer
makes
his
other
lawyer is
countries
He
the
didn't
one
do
that
look
paid
anything.
Stormy
like,
Daniels after
what the
his
hell, we
account
can't
not
take care of
Trump.
our own people. Our government is that jacked up. So it's like, we all know this, but we have to, it's kind of like sweeping it under the rug, but you're not really sweeping it under the rug. But if you
He's
do
innocent.
something like that, if you say one more word, if you do something like that,
What are you gonna do?
it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. It looks really bad.
You're not gonna do
on
anything.
the face of America. It really and truly does.
But if you say one more word, ooh.
There's no crimes.
Oh, listen, ladies and gentlemen, gotta do it, Garrett. See, you gotta follow the
God.
format of the show.
Now, come on, Harris.
Jeez,
I thought Harris had gotten so much better. I was so proud of him. What happened?
he's doing
Put
better,
back
but
the whole-
all right. Who's next? Greg, you go.
Greg?
Sorry, Girth, I gotta keep the show going. We got more guests that need
Yeah.
to come up.
So again,
What
with
happened to
this
you?
whole campaign finance conversation, Rudy Giuliani admitted on television on Fox News that it was paid back by Donald Trump. It was reimbursed, and you have a literal tweet from Donald Trump admitting that he paid it back. Okay, and you have a picture with his signature on there, $35,000 that he paid it back with. So again, if we're going to make excuses that this didn't happen and that, whataboutism with Hillary Clinton, go ahead and keep your Clinton derangement syndrome active and just understand that Donald Trump is going to be indicted in the state of New York. But his biggest concern isn't New York. It's the DOJ investigation into his classified materials and into his interference in the January 6th
You mean Jackson
insurrection, or as the Republicans like to say, attempted insurrection, which is attempted robbery still, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the FBI did not consider it an insurrection.
It doesn't matter if the FBI. They
okay.
went there with.
Jay
with the
Biden, let him
overthrow
finish,
the
please.
government.
You'll have your chance.
They went there with the intent to overthrow the government. So, is just because they were not good at what they wanted to do and they didn't complete their mission doesn't make it better or make it right. So again, you can sit here and say all day, well, nobody's been charged with insurrection. You've had plenty of people that have been charged with seditious conspiracy. You've had people that have blamed Donald Trump when they pleaded guilty that he brought them there. True. They didn't blame Ray Epps. They didn't blame Antifa. They didn't blame anybody else.
Trump did nothing.
And another thing to the word Antifa.
Ridiculous.
Antifa is my grandfather who fought in World
Trump's
War II.
innocent.
Okay, so Antifa is not what you think Antifa is.
Good
Antifa
morning.
is against fascism. That's what Antifa is and always has been.
I'm Antifa.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Let's go on to Shay. Thank you, Greg, brother Greg. See how we keep this show moving.
Can I reply to that, please? Greg, get your breaks done. Okay,
No.
Cut it.
You keep interrupting, Zeus.
Snuggles, one more time, and I'll do it. I'm on a time crunch today. You can do all this in your life, Snuggles. People want to talk and people want to be heard without interruption.
And Kim, to your point, I understand what you're saying, absolutely. But the problem is this has to be a lesson to the United States. That, it looks bad internationally, but I honestly think the international people, I think we'd look worse if we don't hold him accountable, honestly, on the world
stage.
And
I agree. It's just like walking that fine line.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, Kim. And the problem is when you elect somebody with such a narcissistic issues. Hillary Clinton, whether you like her or not, that woman nailed it on the head every single time. Why? Because she was friends with him. She knew him not intimately as in lover, but she knew him as a friend. She knew exactly how he managed things, his temperament, everything about him. She nailed it on the head where his issues would lie, and he absolutely performed on that level. One of the things that I see the problem with him moving forward, 75% of Americans have said that he has done something unethical.
Correct.
56% have said that he's done something criminal. That is not looking good for Trump. The other thing that I'm seeing on the news is a lot of his supporters are coming out saying he is looking like a whiny little child.
Oh,
that's incorrect.
About to hit the growl button.
No, he does. He looks like a whiny child. I don't understand what happened to the Trump in 2016, where he was
Wrong.
vibrant, where he was impassioned, where he was,
Powerful. He was.
And now it's like he's running
What do
scared.
they call him?
talking about
Teflon Don.
bills he wanted to get done, talking about legislation, talking about everything.
Wrong.
He doesn't do that anymore. He gets up there and whines and complains and woe is me and that
Crossings.
stupid January 6th thing. Are you kidding me? With that
Crossings.
song from Prisoners? That's
Mr.
okay
Crossings.
to have a bunch of traitors singing our national anthem?
Mr.
How
Crossings.
is that okay in this
It's
country?
not. How about them using going on? I think
I
it
mean,
was
that's like, give me a break.
I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene when he
Shay,
visited him in prison.
Shay, I mean, it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear all this, Mr. Crossings. It's hard to hear this from an Antifa member who
I don't have a membership.
broke America with
Zeus.
damage across all these buildings.
Stop talking.
But Antifa is
anti-fascism. Anti-fascist. That's what you.
Yeah, yeah, and they're also violent during the across this country.
Violence
Well,
comes out
you see
anywhere.
how that works, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you. Thank you.
But Shay, I do
Listen,
understand what
in
you're
this
saying, and I agree
live,
with you.
nobody
It's
is
hard to get.
above the law.
I hear you, girl.
In this live, in the kingdom, no one is above the law. We need to maintain law and order to get through this show.
I know.
But I still like when Greg does Trump's voice, though.
Oh, I know.
Well, we're doing so great, folks. We're doing so great. Listen, we're doing so great with the indictments, and we'll blame Antifa, but it was my people, okay? It was my people that were there.
I love it.
I do too.
I wanted to say, and to real
Greg,
quick to Harris or Girth, whatever he's calling himself these days. Ashley Babbitt should never have entered the Capitol. When she entered the Capitol, game over. Yes, they had every right to protest outside the Capitol. They had every right to be there. That is there. But the minute you entered the Capitol is where you broke the law.
It's like breaking into somebody's house and getting shot.
So Jay Biden had.
Thank you, Shay.
something to say,
Thank
it
you,
looked
Shay.
like,
So let's move it on to Nutty Professor. Okay, we're doing great on time, by the way. I think I'm getting through more guests. The more people that break the rules, the easier my job gets. Order! Nutty Professor, what do you got?
So first of all, I want to give respect and deference to the lives that were lost in Nashville, because they should be here with us today. This really hit home for me because even though I live in Missouri now, I still have a house in that same neighborhood in Nashville, so I know that place very well. And when is it going to be enough? Does it have to really get to our doorstep before we take this problem serious? So after Newtown, I thought we were going to actually see some change. I think I was just too naive.
Isn't it already
because if 26 elementary children cannot stoke change, then I don't know what will. We just went through Uvalde last year. Still nothing. Now we have Nashville. And then what's the next city that we're going to hear about? It could be on your doorstep. So as a nation, we need to just get rid of the political talking points and just come together. And like the one guest said, we have to put lives over the Second Amendment, because let's face it, the argument is going to be about the Second Amendment. And we can debate that all day long, but we're not talking about it at all because they're like, don't touch my Second Amendment, an amendment that was enacted in the 1700s, the 1700s. So yes, I know we talk about Trump, and I know we get on here and we debate what's going on in the news concerning Trump, but guess what? This is equally, and I would say more important, because we are losing too many lives. And those lives are children's lives as well. Do we not care about our youth in this country? Now, we say we do, but then we do nothing to show that we care.
Thank you, Greg.
We do nothing to show that we care. So anyway, okay, back on to the grifter in chief. So yeah, Ashley Babbitt was not a patriot. She was given commands. Someone who was in the military knows how to follow commands. So what I hear all the time when it comes to people that look like me, they get pew-pewed in the back. You should have complied because she was given commands not to come through that window. What did she still try to do? She still tried to come through that window, and she effed around and she found out. So do I wish she was still here with us? Absolutely, because I don't wish death on anybody. I don't care who you support. But that officer was doing his job in protecting the legislature that he was told to protect. So therefore, her death was on her and Donald Trump. And with that, I'll yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you, Nutty Professor. See, and then after this, we can get to the conversation. You can talk, but I want to hear from everybody. Thank you, Nutty Professor. Jay Biden 24. Greetings. Nice to see you.
So how are we going to blame somebody that wasn't even there? That'd be like me going to rob a bank and be like, oh, Nutty Professor told me to do it, so I did it. I'm still 100% at fault. It doesn't matter if you tell me to do it or not. I did the action. I could tell you to go unalive Zeus right now. And if you do it, you committed the crime.
No, that's false. That's false.
You committed the crime.
That's false.
And he never said, go take over the Capitol. He said, go protest peacefully. You guys like to change words to your narrative. Just stop with it. It's bullshit.
Oh,
so Biden, have you ever heard of Charles Manson? Have you ever heard of Charles Manson? He didn't do anything. He got people to do it, right?
No, he was involved with some of those murders.
Okay, but still, the argument that you're making is that he is not liable for it when he was gaslighting for 2 months that something happened that did not happen, that his own cabinet told him did not happen. His own attorney general told him. So again, he was pushing this false narrative that was a lie.
Couldn't he have just told him not to go to the Capitol?
So is that your whole point, Mr. Biden? Is that you're trying to say what by making all of those statements? I'm confused what your point is.
I'm just saying, it's like, how can you sit there and blame somebody that wasn't even there for the crimes when the people that were there were the ones who did it?
Who is doing that? Who is blaming? I'm confused.
Nutty Professor was just saying it. So was Greg's house. You guys always say that.
He's talking about what's her name?
Trump's at fault. Trump's at fault. January 6th.
So respectfully,
peacefully.
Can I reclaim my time since he brought my name up?
Fair enough. And then after that,
okay, because I want to be respectful. Jay Biden, yes, I can blame Trump because Trump he made a speech telling these folks to go to the Capitol. So he was there. He wasn't there in the room with them.
And peacefully protest.
And yes, she had a choice. Something that your party seems to like to take away from people, but they didn't take her choice away from participating in an attempted insurrection. I yield back.
All right, thank you.
He could have easily told him not to do it.
I mean, he said fight like hell. He said fight like hell. You have to fight like hell.
Right.
His language.
All right, we got the next guest talking. Let him Jay Beal, greetings.
Hey, this is my thing. You all ask what has happened to Trump. Let's make it quite simple. We have switched from a Republican Party to a cult party. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's stop beating around the bush. We have guys. This guy literally threatened the lives of our congressmen, and these clowns, the Republicans, are still supporting him. And the truth of the matter is, you all are letting him get away with something that's simply not true. Trump at no point said let's peacefully protest. Not one person at that rally said. As a matter of fact, they said the very opposite. So let's stop making up these things. The other thing, Trump is guilty of every single crime he's charged with. How do we know that? Because Cohen went to jail for the very crimes, and he was mentioned in the crimes. He literally was mentioned in the crime. Something else dude said that's absolutely false. We just had a guy
Then just
yesterday
why don't
saying,
we charge Biden? Why don't we
hold on,
charge
I
Pelosi?
didn't cut
What's
Hold
you
what's
off.
what's
I
on.
didn't cut
Oh,
you off. I
stop.
didn't cut
Let
you
him
off.
finish.
Listen,
real? What do you
listen,
mean
listen, the
stop?
difference between, hold on, let me respond to you since you cut me off. The difference between me and you, if Obama committed a crime, if Biden committed a crime, if Biden's son committed a crime, put them in jail. That's the
Facts.
difference.
Dale, yes.
I
Yes.
agree.
We don't
The
care.
difference is you all, let me finish. You,
Yeehaw!
you, you
Thank you,
all are cult
Greg.
members. You all are cult members. We know Donald Trump is guilty of every single thing he's accused of. We know that for a fact. Michael Cohen, for example, he's literally mentioned as defendant, I think, one in the case. So everyone knows if one person goes to jail for the crime and you are a participant in the crime, you are guilty of the crime. Something else you said that's the other guy said that's totally false. You said that you could make those statements and not say anything. I was at a football park and the police told me if I say one more thing, I'm going to be charged with inciting a riot. That is inciting a riot.
Sorry.
That is inciting a riot. You all are just living in fantasy world. You all are literally living in fantasy world.
Sorry that
We,
happened to you. That was
we
a
need to get this
miscarriage of justice.
tyrant out of our government. The only thing, and I'll finish with this, host.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
you
I'll
were
say this
there
and I'll
though. You
finish.
have to
The
be
only
there
thing
to
I do
incite a
feel,
riot.
and it's unfortunate, I think that if we could charge him with a crime, get him not to be able to run for politics, I think we should try to avoid him going to jail. I do think that looked bad on our country, but he should definitely have to pay penalties. And then you all overlook his charity, his businesses, and we can go on and on. The guy's a pure criminal, but
Oh,
you
I
all have,
agree.
instead of a political party, you all have turned into a cult. And on that, host, I appreciate you letting me up. I'm done.
The
J.
funny
Real,
thing
I
is,
Thank
agree.
You go,
you.
I agree.
Maddie.
He should be
before
charged. He should not be able
Trump
to hold
ever
office
ran
ever
for
again
All
in
right.
office,
office.
everybody
We
loved
just
him.
had, you heard all those perspectives, folks. So, you heard it. Make your decision for yourself, okay? Panelists, any last remarks before I clear the boxes and bring up the next group? Because there's a lot of
I
people who want to chat.
I would say I
No,
agree
I'm
with
dead.
Nutty and I agree with
I'm
J.
out.
Roll
Thank you,
that
Zeus.
that's how it should be.
Yes.
That's how it should be. That
Here,
he should be charged with
here's the
something so
last
he
word.
can never, ever, ever run again.
Yep.
Here's the last word that I have regarding guns. Um, the Republican Party often talks about mental health and how we need to, pass mental health and do all this stuff about guns. But when faced with the actual bills, they had a mental health in school bill. 200 plus Republicans voted it down. And they blame it on the pork. They say, blame it on the alcohol, but they blame it on the pork, right? So they blame it on the pork, but they won't send it back without the pork. They just call it dead. So if you have a real concern and you actually have a stance, send it back and let's negotiate. Instead, what do? They say, oh, we can't do it. Sorry, too much. So again, I
Shame.
will I will dip out of the panel. Thank you for having me up. And remember, hypocrisy never wins.
Exactly. Thank you, Brother Greg. All right, I'm going to bring up the next group. Nutty, you had
All
something
right.
you wanted to say?
Yeah, so very quickly, when did we care about America looking bad? We do enough to make ourselves look bad, like being number one in gun death violence in the world. We do enough to make ourselves look bad. So if prosecuting a former president makes us look bad, okay, let's go for it. Because I think it sends a message to the world that we are not hypocrites and that we are truly going to hold everybody accountable because no one is above the law. And with that, I say, Jack Smith, Jack Smith, Jack
Hey,
Smith.
hey,
I
thank
agree,
you,
Nutty.
ladies and gentlemen. Order. All right. I appreciate every single one of you for joining these conversations day
Thank you,
in and
sir.
day out.
Thank you.
I am going to, what was that?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Oh, no problem. No problem. We got a next group of
Bye,
exciting
everybody.
individuals. Okay. We got a next group. Thank you so much, Shay.
Thank you.
The next group, I believe, is going to be some of the fan favorites. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh.
Good morning, Zeus.
Swervin, good morning. Miss Brightside, good morning.
How's things in
Janae.
the kingdom, brother?
Oh, things are as they are. Angela, good morning. Shay, I love you so much. And I try to mix it up.
No, I get
All
it.
right.
I just wanted to say one thing. Then I got to run up to the hospital where my mother-in-law's at.
Uh-oh.
But I just wanted to say this: that the guy Jay Biden, 24, he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about how we cherry picked parts of Donald Trump's speech on January 6th when he said march peacefully and down to the Capitol. You know the part of it that they won't cherry pick? They won't cherry pick the butt end of that speech where he said, "And we're going to march down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we're going to fight like hell because you don't take your country back with weakness." Okay? They won't cherry pick that part of the speech. They won't say anything about the butt end of that speech because that's exactly what he said. And
Mm.
it just fascinates me. The only part of it they pick out, they forget about Rudy Kaludi sitting there talking about let's have trial by combat.
Mm.
They forget about DJ
So
TJ up there with the booger sugar, talking about we
let's
gotta
have
we gotta
trial
do
by
this,
combat. Are you talking about that?
and we got and and we just had another right wing nut job said if
Right
Donald
wing.
Trump is indicted, and I'm outside with my dogs right now, but I can pull it up on my iPad if you need me
No,
to.
I'll take your
Another
word. Your word is as good as gold, swerving in the
another right
kingdom.
wing nut job who just threatened, said, military join us in executing, unaliving, if you will, Barack Obama, Condoleezza Rice, and all these other people that were under his administration. I'm like, wow, the Obama derangement syndrome is strong. But at the end
Wow.
of someone's speech, when they say, we're going to march down to the Capitol and I'll be there with you, and we're going to fight like hell because you don't take your country back with weakness. They
Wow.
don't. They cherry pick the part where he goes peacefully protest, but they never cherry pick the butt end of that speech. So come on, let's hit it, y'all. So that's all I wanted to say, Zeus. I'm gonna
I
head on up to the hospital. So
okay.
thanks for having me up, brother. I appreciate you. Y'all have a
Anytime.
y'all have a great day up there on Mount Olympus, and
Will
I'll
do.
see you soon, brother.
All right. Thank you, Brother Swerve, and coming in delivering more damning evidence. Okay. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. This is not good for the Trump supporters. What do you have to say, Linz?
It's Janae. You know it's Janae, silly. The only thing I have to say is it's a shame. It's a shame that A, you have 293 people in these comments pouring out hateful comments, and we had 3 kids and 3 adults die not even 48 hours ago.
All right, Yazzie. See ya. So what is your grievance? What is the issue here? And how can we help you? Hello?
Sorry.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry about that, guys. And it's sad because you're so concerned about Trump, Biden. We
Wait a
should be
second. What's
praying for these
happening?
people that passed away. Period. This is
I can't.
stupid, y'all.
I didn't hear what you said, Janae. I think you must be on that MAGA Wi-Fi, is what I'm hearing. Rich, can you mute your mic while? Well, I don't know. I don't know where you're at, Janae, but that MAGA Wi-Fi is something else. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see if she could come back up. MAGA 6G. Yes, Jack Smith. Please put those blue waves in the comment and those Jack Smith photos up, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. Janae, did you want to finish?
I'll go last.
Oh, okay. Rich, greetings. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. How are you?
I'm all right. We've never done business together, have we?
No, we have not.
Okay, well, you know how I do what I do. Before I start hearing from you, I got to fill you out, and I have some questions that will help me do that. Are you ready for those questions?
Let's do it.
All right. In your opinion, who was responsible for the January 6th attack? and no cheating.
I'm not going to go with Trump, but some of his right wing supporters, absolutely. But I'm not saying he incited it because the standard for incitement was never met at that point. So if you know Supreme Court law, Brandenburg versus Ohio is the standing law on this, and that decision pretty much held that in order to constitute incitement and violence, speech must include intent and specific, not abstract instructions to act.
My hammer is oozing
I
with
know it
truth.
is.
Rich,
I'm waiting.
I'm gonna need you to cut it out, Rich. Next
I'm just
question.
telling you.
Next
It
question.
requires the speech to really produce imminent lawless action. It's not just
Okay. Next
not just
question. Next
nudging people.
question. Next
Go
question.
for it.
Next question, Rich. You're doing a whole lot of things on in that box, but I got to keep
Hmm.
asking these questions so
Go
that
for
those
it.
of us who don't know you can fill you out. Your first answer, I'm going to
It
tell
was
you right
excellent.
now. Okay. Next question. Do you back the blue?
Law enforcement, absolutely.
That includes Jack Smith, right?
If he's doing his job correctly, sure.
I like this
He's
guy.
an attorney. He's not blue.
Okay. Moving to the next question, and it's the final question. Was Trump sent by God or of men? Which one do you think it is?
Well, it depends whether you believe in God or not. First off, if you do, then everyone was sent by God. If you
Thank you.
don't,
I
then
did say that answer this morning.
all right. But
Do
you know
you
what?
personally think God sent him to the Republican Party to lead you?
You know what? I'm not going to put it in God's hands. I'm going to say that the people wanted a change, and they got that change in 2016.
So you say no.
I'm going to
Rich,
say
you're all
no.
over the place.
I'm going to say,
Order! Rich, cut it out. Now, what do you got for us? I think I know where you stand. I think you are a Trump supporter who's ashamed to admit it. Is that fair to say?
I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter. I'm just
Did you
saying
vote for him?
the first time, yes.
Well, yeah.
The second time I didn't vote for either of those two, so there's that.
Then that's. I'm curious. Why didn't you vote for Trump the second time, like some of his, loyal supporters did? Why didn't you choose to vote for him the second time?
I just didn't. I chose for an independent, which had no chance of winning, but I did. So,
That's
regardless,
Well, thank
that
you
you're
for wasting
being
that.
you're
Thank
being
you
a
for
look,
little
wasting that vote.
evasive. You're being a
it
little
was a wasted
evasive,
vote.
Rich.
I'll agree, but as far as I'm
That was kind
concerned,
of dumb. Now look
hey,
at our country.
you're right. Well, luckily I'm in Florida, so we pretty much took red regardless. So,
All right, let's
um,
keep going. I gotta moving on, Rich. Okay, what do
all
you
right,
got? And then I'm moving on to Angela, Miss Bright, and Rexy. Jeez,
all
it's
right. Look,
always difficult to get straight answers for some strange reason. What do you got
gun
for us?
gun violence needs to be toned down. Obviously, how to do that? That's a big question. There's a lot of mental health issues. Earlier, people were talking about mental health. Look, the Republican Party wants to fix this. It's not like they don't. I mean, just because the bills are sent to them doesn't mean those bills are perfect. Those bills are horrible. They're asking for money for this, for that, for this, and the other. Why not focus these bills all down to specific things, which neither party ever will. Both parties want something extra in any bill they throw out there. Whether the Democrats throw something the Republicans don't like, or vice versa, it happens with every bill. There's got to be compromise. But the problem is neither party
I
wants to
agree.
compromise. Neither party wants compromise. It's not a left or a right situation.
Would
It's
you? I would imagine you are for the Second Amendment, right?
yes.
What would if it came down to it? Would you be willing to give up your gun in order to protect these kids?
Well, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't have a reason to give up my gun.
I didn't ask if you had a reason. Well, actually, I just gave you one. I said if you
Well,
knew it
no.
was going to save
Okay.
lives,
So
if you knew
how
it was going to
is
save lives and stop all these stories, would you do it?
Okay, but the question is how is me giving up my gun going to stop the violence that's happening by many of them being criminals or mental health issues? How is me
Well, they
giving
want.
up my gun and my right to protect my family going to help the situation?
I mean, that's another question. You're answering a question with a question, but hypothetically speaking, if we knew that if we took away the guns so that people don't have them to use them anymore, then it's safe to say then there would be a sharp decrease in these kind of situations because there's no more guns around for people to just randomly get access to. I mean, I get there's always loopholes, right? But
Well,
for the most part, in our make believe world that I'm just imagining right here on TikTok
right.
with all my powers, and I said, "Hey, Rich, if everyone gets rid of their guns, this will stop." Would you say, "You know what? Let's do it"?
Well, the problem is that's not a reality, because
Oh,
regardless of any law-abiding citizen giving up their guns, there's still the criminals that are going to bring in these guns from different countries.
thank you,
That,
Henry.
am I wrong? Am I
So the
wrong?
answer is no.
Rich, you're 100% correct. I'm
I mean,
listening. You did great,
that's
except
the
for not
problem.
voting for Trump.
You can't
Thank
ask
you.
law-abiding citizens give up their guns in the hopes that criminals stop their actions. It just isn't feasible. It's not going to
Well,
work.
Miss,
here's my
can I ask
thing,
a question,
Rich,
Mr. Crossings, real quick?
and
I'm so
I'm gonna
sorry.
go to Angela next.
I
No
just wanted to ask.
snuggles.
I'm going to go because I got
Okay,
to go to
go
work.
ask.
I'm going to go to work anyway. Mr.
Oh,
Crossings, if we are under attack, let's say, and we're at war, which you guys don't know because you're so far into Trump's investigations, we're at war, and somebody that attacks our country, we give up our guns, right? What are we going to defend ourselves with? Our butter knives? I'm serious. I mean, you're asking us to
We're at
give us
war
our guns to
if
protect.
that's what it
Oh,
takes.
Rexy, why don't you pay attention to the news because there's things coming and there's things that might be coming our way. So you just relax there, Rexy, and start watching
Leave
the other news.
Rexy alone.
Secondly,
Okay.
really quick, I'm tired
That's
of
who you're at war with.
we had a Democrat. Hold on, we had a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate that could have passed these bills that the Republicans didn't. So quit using those excuses out there that this Biden
Okay,
administration should have
order.
passed
Okay,
those.
I gotta go move it back
Okay,
to Angela
I got
Snuggles.
to go
That's
to my live. I'm going to my live
misinformation coming from
right
Snuggles
now.
once again.
Come to
Snuggles.
my live.
Moving on to Angela.
Oh,
Cause see, I
come to
know you
his
can.
live.
You're a grandstander, Snuggles. You don't do it here. Okay,
Oh
I'll
my
go to your
goodness.
live and
I like him
grandstand
though.
all you want. Angela,
I
what do
like
you
how you
have
muted
for the
him.
live?
Thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
is
Please
it
come
my
to my
turn
live
or
right now.
Snuggles? Snuggles, are you done? I'm
Love you
just saying.
socially.
Oh,
I'm out.
I don't. I don't. Anyway,
Well, I do. All right. Thank you,
well,
socially.
okay. I love, well,
Uh,
maybe not. Okay. Anyway,
yeah, a little bit.
so
You always come to my lives, though.
no, for like five
And then
minutes,
we do
five
that
minutes, and then I
because see,
can't
listen,
take
I
you.
can't get through my
No, that's
live
a
with him
lie.
interrupting
Right.
me.
3 minutes because I
Thank
can't
you,
take
Angela.
much of him. Anyway, to address these, the
Snuggles.
tragedy that happened with these six people we lost, I would just like to say that there's been 38 mass pewings this month. 38 just this month. 57 lives have been lost just this month, and 133 injured. That's it. All
Wow.
just this 1 month.
Wow.
And to go back to January 6th, I know everyone likes to talk about that. I want to address what happened, what he was doing while this was happening. Okay. He was not tweeting, which is, I mean, my gosh, he usually tweets every 3 minutes. 187 minutes went by before he put anything out.
Jack
Anything.
Smith.
100. That's the one. Jack Smith probably knows this and he's going for it. We just need a little bit more time. Just a little bit, guys. Hang in
Yes.
there. But 187 minutes before he put, and then he told them he loved them. Oh, I love you. And then don't no with the peacefully go home. I don't care. That's still that he just threw that in there. But anyway, he was asked by his own daughter to put out a tweet. His own daughter. And during that time, I will not say the word, but he called Mike Pence something that started with a P. That I won't say the word, but that's what he did.
He loves using
Oh,
that
I
word,
will not
doesn't
say the
he?
word. And I think with that, I will yield back my time. And everyone just know that Jack Smith is coming. He's coming. All right, just hang on, you guys.
Yes,
He's
Jack
coming.
Smith
Or
is
or
watching
Fannie
all of
Willis.
this.
Fannie Willis, she's coming too.
Oh,
We've got
that
her.
Patty Willis.
Okay, I will yield back my time now, and I didn't interrupt anybody. I just want to say
No, you did not. You
okay.
did just fine,
Okay.
Angela.
Thank
That's how
you.
this live is supposed to be ran. No one should be over talking. I don't know why some of my friends on the right continue to do
I
this.
know.
Shame, shame, shame,
The
shame.
people on the left will just stay quiet when they're supposed to. Anyway, appreciate
Yes,
you. Thank you.
no problem. All right, Miss Brightside. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeus. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing all right. You know, another
Good.
day in the kingdom.
I know. Hey, I want to talk about, of course, the gun violence. And one thing that I notice is rarely I hear mental health a lot, obviously, um, with these mass shootings. But the one thing, and I'm not saying it's mental health is not a factor, of course, but the one thing nobody ever really brings up is the fact that 97 and 98% of these are committed by males. So using that logic of it being mental health, if that were the fact, why are these not being committed also by women? Right? We both suffer with mental health, if not. The problem is we're not drilling down. Why is it males? I look into this and I think, even unalivings these days, if you look at the stats, are much higher for males in certain age ranges, about the same age ranges as those who commit these mass shootings. And I think a lot of that has to do with going back to the 90s and 2000s, because I'm Gen Xer. I'm 57. So, and
Okay.
I have 4 children. I have 2 now. My 2 sons coming up in that time. And that was right about the time where I didn't know anybody that was going through divorce. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have outside influence. These young people now, a lot of these males are growing up in homes where they have to be dad. They have to take on the role model of being dad in the home, but they don't have they don't have the tools to process the anger and the rage. They don't have someone in the home. And I'm not saying this is every home, and I'm not saying that every home is a good home that has 2 parents in the home. That's not my point. The point is that there are a lot, and I know some of these homes where these children are, 8, 9, 10 years old, and they're taking on the role of dad. They have nobody showing them how to regulate anger. They have no one showing them how to handle in a healthy way rage or bullying or any of that. And nobody's addressing that. And of course, I'm, as far as common sense, gun regulations, I think that's necessary. But also, a lot of people don't look at the reason why a lot of these people who commit these crimes choose the AR. Yes, they choose it because of what it can do, right? But it also is for what it represents. Right? You walk into a gun, it makes them feel power, right? There's something about holding an AR as opposed to holding a pistol. And now it is sort of is a symbol of mass shootings. So they choose that not only because of the carnage it can do, but also because of what it represents. So getting them, it's not as simple as just getting them off the market or getting them out of the hands of people because of what it can do. It's because it is actually chosen for that reason often. So you're kind of, people don't think of these. I'm an out of the box thinker. And that's another thing that comes to mind. I would just beg people, as someone that has buried 2 children, what I find really offensive is when people are using these I see this all the time. People use these children and also the adults, to push their agenda, and it's really harmful because there are people out there watching, and then I see them get back into other lives, and I've even seen people laugh, and you can push how you feel about gun control. You can get your voice heard without using them. You can do that without laughing and mocking. None of that is necessary, and I'm not going to take you serious, if you pretend to care about children and then, get in other lives and laugh and joke about it, because dead children are not funny. There's nothing funny about that.
I agree.
I yield back.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brightside, for bringing your perspective to the discussion. You touched on a lot of good areas, and it'll be nice to see what those folks in Congress decide to do. Like I said, even Liz Cheney said it right up there. Less time banning books, more time, stopping the horrific gun violence in our schools. So yes, thank you, Rexy. Are you there? Moving on to, I'm going to talk to Rexy. We got a couple more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Rexy, what do you got for us, and how are you doing?
I'm good. I have a question. So I know all the different ways various people on the left would like to stop these mass pew-pewings. What does the conservative side recommend? Like, what are their answers? Because they'll blame it on mental illness, but they don't want to increase the availability to citizens to get the mental health.
They want to
They
force
don't want
people
any.
to go to church because if they were going to church, that would solve the problem. That's what they want to do.
Oh, Lord! Shame!
I don't disagree, but
Shame!
That's what they want to do.
That's
I
not
would
a
say they've
plan?
more. I don't ever hear them put forward like suggestions. I only hear them argue against the left's suggestions. Are there any conservatives in the boxes left? I don't know. Was Snuggles the last one?
I wouldn't even call. I don't know what Snuggles is.
I
He's
don't know what
keen
he
on
is either.
listening to me.
Snuggles is an
I'll be nice.
asshole.
He's
Yeah,
a
I'll
Trump
be nice. I'm
supporter.
not going to say what I think of him, but
Don't
He's
keep
an
it
asshole.
clean. No,
yeah,
keep
that's
it
why I said I
clean. We
won't.
don't call names, please.
All right. So somebody said security at schools. So security meaning what exactly? Because like,
Well, I don't
I
know
mean,
what that
that's a
means. To me,
right.
schools.
They
To
want
me,
to
to
have
me, schools
retired
already look. Huh?
veterans.
Oh no,
They
no,
want
no, no.
retired veterans. That's what a lot of people are calling for, giving teachers guns and having retired veterans as security. That's what they were talking about.
Do they understand that people are people
Not
no
trying
matter
to
what
talk over
uniform?
you, but
Do they know that people are people no
that
matter what they're wearing? I mean, you could throw somebody in a cop outfit. You could put them in a suit. That doesn't mean they're not criminal. So
Well,
let's cut it out, folks. Let's cut it out.
my,
I don't think the solution to stopping it is more guns. That makes no sense.
But
That's
some
just
school
like
I was
putting
districts
going
me
to
in a
say
can't
I don't.
candy
afford it.
store. That's like putting me in a candy store and telling me the solution to your diabetes is more candy. Really?
but you want to give teachers guns. So what if, I'm 5'4"? I'm not going to stand a chance against a 15 or 16-year-old that's 6'2". What if that kid disarms me and then starts pew-pewing everybody? Or
Well,
gets
and
a hold of the pew-pew when I'm trying to break up a fight?
Or
the
if you're what if
reality is
you're ambushed by more than one person?
Teachers aren't even paid enough to begin with.
I wouldn't do it. Everybody's listen. Those are not good solutions. I'm just gonna say that, and I don't have time to pick out. Total terrible. All right, Rexy, thank you. I'm gonna move it on to Doug. Okay, we're reaching that moment of the show where Zeus may have to run. Doug, greetings. How are you doing, champ? No problem.
Yep.
Order! I agree. Get rid of it.
I like him.
Yes, thank you, Doug, for making it very clear.
okay. This is going to be an unpopular response, especially since I'm a leftist. I don't think that that's enough. There's other types of
Okay,
pew pews. So,
I
get them
know.
um,
all.
We're trying to dip our toe into it right now.
Yes, we have to actually understand this is a tough thing.
First things
This is a
first.
tough thing.
First things first.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if we need to like. Honestly, it's kind of like, does it really matter what the pew pew is? It's more so, why are we not, putting. Okay, so I talked to my dad. My dad's like 100 years old, not literally, but he's hella old. And he grew up in an era
Okay.
when it was very common for kids to get their first pew pew to go hunting and whatnot at like 10 years old, right?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but so we were talking about so what's the differences, Dad? You know what I mean? Like, pew pews were just as common, back then as they were now, and
Right.
all these things. One of the things that he thinks is a big difference is so a pew pew back then was seen no different than a rake. It was a tool with a purpose. It was not a
Right.
lifestyle. It wasn't something that you went and took 8 million pictures with to show off what you just got. It was, you might have showed off the deer or whatever you just, got. So I think, so even if we banned the ARs, well, there's still, I don't know, millions, not literally millions, but, tons of other pew pews. We have a very serious issue with the amount of people specifically, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people get mad at me in the comments on this one.
Well, they're mad
On
all
a
the time,
certain
but say what you have to say. You're
on the right side of the political views, if you will, and lifestyles that very much make pew pews a part of their personality, which is extremely weird. I'm sorry, it is.
they do.
It
Shame.
it's
Shame.
concerning.
I'm trying to follow that. Oh.
You're trying to follow it.
Yeah, you said they're on the right side of
the political aisle.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to call them anymore. They're not conservatives. They're not Republicans. I don't
Ultra
know what
MAGA.
they are, to be
They're
honest.
Ultra MAGA.
I don't know what a Marjorie Taylor Greene is. I don't know what she is. I'm not even sure she's human, to be honest with you, but that's a whole
No, she's
nother
not.
topic. She might be one of those lizard people. If that's a true conspiracy, I think she might be their leader. I'm just saying.
Reptilian.
Yeah.
Reptilian is what it's called.
Oh my
But
God. Well, listen, we have to move it on because I haven't heard from Lady Blind Wolf. Okay, and who is this? How do you pronounce your name? Your Avon lady. Okay, yeah, I want to hear from them before I wrap things up.
Hello.
Avon
Right.
calling.
Ding dong.
Okay, so we need to put licensed therapists in these schools. Because if you have to take your kid out of school to go to therapy, these schools throw a hissy fit because you got to have so many days, hours, minutes, whatever. We need to put therapists in these schools. We need to stop stigmatizing mental health and allowing these pastors to continue to stigmatize mental health. Okay, you say that kids in anger and all, then fine, then let them do that in the schools. We need to bring character training back into the schools. Stop preparing these kids for tests and start preparing them for life. I agree. In a lot of areas, we need to remove the AR-15, but some people that live in farms and stuff, they need those guns to protect their livestock from coyotes and boars and all this other kind of stuff. And that farm is their livelihood. I get that. But you got these pastors that are going to Barnes and Noble throwing hissy fits over tarot cards, but they sure as heck don't want to do anything about the kids that are getting touched in their own freaking churches. That's the other freaking problem, which is why kids get traumatized, which is, let's do something about these pedophiles so our kids aren't traumatized, and then they're not going and shooting up schools.
Yeah.
And we need to stop these freaking politicians.
Hold on. Wait. Can we pause right there? This is somebody who worked with children that were victims of that. What you just said is very problematic because it's there's no evidence that any of these children, these young people, I don't know what to call them, that have done these school pew pews were victims.
Did you see the article from 2013 from the shooting yesterday? That pastor was touching kids.
Right, but there's no
10
evidence
years ago that school was in trouble for touching kids. No, look it up.
Right, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is we don't want to further subjugate victims of children, especially children of SA, that they are, somehow a threat to society, because that's kind of what you just did.
I didn't say that. I said we need to get them help. And we need to stop it at the root. You cut out the root, then, there's the problem. We need to be, and I also said, we need to be, if you start putting up gallows and start hanging these pedophiles and stuff, that'll cure that problem real quick. Then there won't be traumatized kids. Because a pedophile that's going to be hung is a pedophile that's not going to touch kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Interesting. Interesting. Yes, I do agree. Two
get,
separate issues.
can we talk
With
about
that.
can
Yeah,
we talk about
definitely
mental
two
health for a
separate
minute?
issues.
Mental health. What is the side that's always screaming about mental health and we need it desperately so bad? Who is this? Who does that a lot? Which side?
The right.
Oh, you know
And
what's
they voted
interesting about
down.
the right? I'm looking at the last vote on the mental health packages. They just tried. They did pass it, thank God. It was 220 to 205. 205 Republicans voted against it.
Shame.
One
Interesting.
Republican voted for it.
Order. Wow.
They're dying
What
to get
about
this
that?
stuff in there, but they don't.
What
That's,
about
that's
that
what they do.
Oklahoma pastor that used the Bible so he could justify disabled kids being corporally punished at school?
Right.
Because they're going to determine, our politicians are going to determine, just like with women, they're going to determine who's mentally ill and who's not,
Right.
who's disabled and who's not.
This is what the
Shame. It
Republicans
seems
do.
the GOP has a lot of work to do, and it's not
I was a former
looking good.
40. I was a 40-year Republican, and I switched over. I know the
Oh,
playbook. Um,
Smart
they'll
man.
tell you one thing and stab you in the back
they will?
all day long.
Wow. You heard it here first. To the friends, my friends on the right, get out while you can.
Break
It's
out.
not looking good. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on to your Avon lady and then wrap this live up because Zeus does have to go to the gym and take care of his health. Your
Nice.
Avon lady, greetings.
Good morning, and
Good
thank you.
morning.
I think I have a solution. Let's make people
Oh.
personally responsible for their pew-pews, similar
Yep.
to what we do with cars. You know, you'd have to
Oh.
register, you'd have to have training, you'd have to have insurance, be responsible if your pew-pew is used in a commission of a crime.
Yes.
Make the gun manufacturers liable.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, that's a
all
good
these,
one.
Yes.
all
Yes.
these things
NRA.
that the gun
Make the
lobbies
NRA
Like that.
liable.
give. Yes, exactly. And make it harder to get. I can go in and get any kind of gun I want right now and have it back in my house within a couple of hours. There's something wrong with that. There needs to be a federal wide waiting period of, I would go as far as 90 days.
Ooh, that is a long
Mm.
time. They might forget about
Yeah, yeah.
They might.
it. Oh, I forgot. They're gonna make my poo poo.
Yeah, these are all ideas, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
and you're hearing them.
Can we please vote out these politicians that take money from the NRA?
Well,
Yes, please.
we would probably do that on one side. The other side don't give a damn. You know,
Yeah.
the ones that are taking it, they don't care.
Because both sides take money from the NRA.
They do, but if you look at the breakdown, I've seen it. They're like Dems take it too, but the Republicans, whoa, they're racking it up.
Yes.
Can I say
Millions.
something real quick
And
about
they're
that?
and they don't have a plan. The Republican Party
No.
does not have a plan for this, which is kind of concerning in my opinion.
They
Shame.
And
love
I
the
do think,
unborn, but once you're in school, to hell with you.
They love sending the
I
soldiers off to
like her.
war. Don't they
Yes.
hate the vet?
Can I say something real quick? Real quick. There was a
absolutely.
representative from Tennessee named Tim Burchett. You know what his solution was? He
What
said
was
that we
that?
should homeschool.
Oh, I saw
That's
that.
what we should
Oh,
do. We should homeschool.
Yes.
Oh my
That's the
goodness.
fix. That
He
we should
said,
homeschool because
yeah.
you know everybody can do that, right?
Is
All
he
the
in
parents
support
can
of
just quit
UBI?
their darn jobs
He
and stay
said,
home
we
and
homeschool.
homeschool their kids. See that they don't care. They just think
Yeah,
vote
that it's
because they
blue.
going to
want
happen.
women.
Yeah.
They want
That's
women
what
to
I wanted
not
to
work
say.
and stay home and homeschool and do everything.
Make babies.
Correct. I just wanted to throw
Wow.
that in there.
Shame. Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We had an excellent conversation. We talked about a
Yeah.
lot of things in the witness today, but
Good
Yay!
times.
Zeus
Good
does
times.
have to run.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. We
It was
appreciate it,
nice
Zeus.
talking to all of you.
Have a nice
Until
workout.
tomorrow.
Thank
Will
you.
do. Stay safe
See you,
Thank
and
you,
man.
stay
Vic.
positive
Mr.
out
Zeus.
there and vote blue. And last but not least,
Ciao.
Trump supporters, get
Oh,
those knee
hats
pads
out.
ready.
Yes, love it.
Incoming.
Thank you.
See you,
You're
buddy.
Yeah.
welcome.
Thanks.
And I really am the most handsome in the kingdom.
I've always said that.
Yes, you are.
This is how I move
What
when
you
I'm
do?
walking like Zeus. This is how I sound when I'm talking like Zeus. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus.
I like to act a fool when I'm moving like
Hats
Zeus.
out.
Don't be playing with
Thank
my
you,
moves
ladies
when I'm
and
moving like
gentlemen.
Zeus. Looking at the cool till I look like Zeus. Thunder in the sky
Like you
I'm
will.
like Zeus. I make my own rules. I'm a god, call me Zeus. I'm
Who is that?
like I made on me too.
Took a long time to get here and I'm feeling brand new.
If you living like a bum, get away from me. Oh, I got money in my mouth. I can bring it around you. Fall in too. You a high risk, mix all in the mix. I put a bounty on your head. This is where your butterflies when you playing with the gods and you playing with
Let's go! Great show, Angela. Thank you so
I know
much.
the ladies love me cause I'm sweet like a tooth.
Playing hating on the gods, boy, you such a douche.
I try to be
For
patient.
real, nice to see you, brother.
Catching all these snakes like a mongoose.
These ladies love me, yeah, I'm the one that they choose.
You know I'm so handsome, that's why they call me Zeus. This is how I move when I'm walking like Zeus. This is how I sound when I'm talking like Zeus. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus. I like to act a fool when I'm moving like Zeus. Don't be playing with
Great show, ladies and gentlemen.
You thinking that you're cool till
You need to give them up, C-word.
thunder in the sky,
Thank you, Evan.
Oh my God, call me Zeus.
We made the goal. Thank you, Evan.
Well, I'm living proof. I've been waiting for this moment now. I gotta choose.
If you play around with love, then you're guaranteed to lose.
I didn't make
We didn't get any poll results.
like a fool. If you can't swim, don't be in the pool. Even though I'm hot, people telling me be cool.
I'm just sitting on my throne
while you looking like a goose.
Jack Smith, yes, thank you, Angela.
Yeah, grab your goose. Hey, little mama, let me play with your caboose. I know the ladies love me cause I'm sweet like a tooth. Playing hating on the gods, boy, you such a douche. Trying to be patient, but you had to light my fuse. Catching all these snakes like a mongoose.
It's in iTunes.
Ladies love me, yeah, I'm the one that they choose.
You know I'm so handsome,
that's why they call me Zeus.
All of the music is in iTunes. Just look for 3 Crossing.
This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus.
I like to act a fool when I'm moving like Zeus.
Don't be playing with my move when I'm moving like Zeus.
You thinking that you cool till I pull up like Zeus. Jack Smith.
I make my own rules. I'm a god, call me Zeus. Yeah, you know about me.
Oh, soon.
I like to get wild and loose.
Soon.
I'm the god of the gods.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know that. I'm bringing down the roof, ladies and gentlemen. Downline on the beat, kicking on the roof. Lord's Reed on the beat. You better call the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I can dance and box in the dope. Don't get caught slipping in the woods or you'll be dead like I'm out. Lindsay on the beat like Zeus, let's go. Angela on the beat like Zeus. RMC on the beat.
Yeah, you heard about me.
Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your morning. I am out of here. Thank you so much, Angela. You're amazing as always.